Yeah, Chris, what's up, man?
Family, brother.
We just talked about another passing of Iron brother. I never met him in person. What was his name, Milos?
I think a golem. A golem means enormous.
I know. Yeah. Goliath or something, right? I don't know.
Goliath, yeah, probably on his language.
Golem, yeah. Ilya Golem.
Golem.
Born in 88, bro. The dude was 36 years old.
Jeez.
What is going on, man?
But no signs and reasons or what?
Who would know? Who would know? Milos, when someone ends up having most of the time it's cardiac arrest, heart attack or whatever. You know, that's the first thing that I assume. And the thing is, if you died, we can't ask you, did you feel anything in the weeks prior? You know, if anybody could come back, they could probably tell you, listen, if you feel this, go get checked. You know, there might be signs that people just they just overlook them and just I'll be all right. You know, like we all have certain things where it's like, hey, shit, why did I just get up and I was so fucking dizzy? You know, if this happens all the time, I don't know, there might be something. You know?
He's a pretty heavy guy, right?
Yeah.
350.
Yeah, 350.
Yeah.
350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like
even back when we were in Venice, they had Jeep Swenson. He was like a 400-pound guy. He didn't go into his 40s, and he never made it that far.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
all these comments in under the videos, they're expecting me to get the heart attack any day.
Why?
I don't know. Like
Milos, you passed. You're over the bridge already. Yeah. if you should have got a heart attack, it should have happened 25 years ago.
Exactly. It's because they get like pissed off or
no. That's because that's where I am. If I had to,
you got wet.
If I had to explain Milos in one sentence, Chris, if somebody asked you, how do you explain Milos in one sentence?
Be careful.
Persistent.
So I would even be able to put a sentence together. I would just have to use words, you know.
I would say as real as it gets. That's what it is.
Yeah, but how do you explain a person? How do you explain what this is Milos? Milos, you seem to be always under stress. But you function in stress. You function well in stress. I think if you have nothing to do and you could be just chill with your feet up on the couch, I don't think you would have fun doing that.
Trust me, I would.
You would?
Yeah, of course.
Trust me, I would.
Hey, let's get straight to it, man.
Well, our condolences to the family, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though I never met him, but he's an Iron brother, and it's him. And a couple of weeks ago, it was Christopher, another big guy, 300-something pounds.
And I do wish some of the younger generation tried to understand and learn what we're trying to convey to the generation as being staying healthy or not going crazy when it comes to more is not going to be better for you as far as trying to be heavy and trying to be.
I get it. But Chris, could it be that it's just because now people just get so much bigger and so much heavier and it's so much more stress on the heart?
It's not even necessary because
I get that.
The quality is not there.
I get that. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. Now, being 310, 320 pounds, this is fucking normal. You know? Back then, if you cracked the 300 in off season, that was special,
bro.
You know what I'm saying? Now, when you
goes at 300, I was like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah, but when you see who dies, it's mostly the heavier guys. You know it's rarely someone who is under 200 pounds or 220 or 230. Unless there's some underlying issues. Anyways, I wanted to talk about Italy. I want to get your guys' take on, because there's so many mixed reviews now. Did Hunter deliver in Italy? Was this the best Hunter? Or was that just a Hunter good enough to win?
Good enough to win.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought he was going to run away with it a lot more than what he did. And I think that I've seen better separate. I'm a separation guy. You guys know that. And I saw a lot better separation in his quads and like say like the Tampa show.
Yeah.
I thought he was, rock hard. I thought he
Yeah.
was rock hard there. And it's not about, I mean, I do understand he picks a couple of his poses that were better because he would hit a side tricep and his lower abdomen would be protruding. He did have the bigger delt, more back, and then I think he tried to overdo it by leaning way back into his scapulas into the pose to try to
show off more detail.
And try to
make it look like the lats are lower.
Yeah, and then then it shortened the lats up, and then like he didn't even have no lower lat insertion areas that was visible. The abs, I don't know what's going on with the abs. I don't know if he started to train it more and try to show a little bit more of the serratus and oblique area that was improved. But it's still, I mean, when you got to hit it like that, that means you're trying to hide something. It's going like this and just going right down your abs. You're hiding something. It's a problematic area, not an area where you're trying to be proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even do an ab and thigh pose.
I don't like that the quads. You're showing us some striations on a week and a half out. Get to the show, there's nothing.
Yeah, but could that be because? I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even want to say that they carved up wrong. Could it be that maybe the nerves get involved last minute?
But then you go to the front double bicep. He has big arms, but then it looked like your front double bicep was underwhelming. And all it is to say, some parts were bigger, some parts were flatter, but he was still good enough to win.
Right.
So,
right.
Tell me where I'm going wrong here.
Yeah, Milos, what do you think?
Yeah, but then you think that it's possible for him to be nervous. He was going to this show like on a vacation. I mean, nobody was threatening him really.
But I thought because it's a do or die for him, he had to. Yeah, he has an option in England too.
Yeah, he had England in case, but family was going there. Like Lee and Robin were there and everybody, right? So I don't think there was a pressure. So that was the perfect show that you can dial in, see how far you can go. To think about, we didn't want to dial in now because 5 weeks from now we're going to dial in. Like you don't prepare for the show half-assed.
Right.
You dial down well ahead of time. So and Chris was pointing this out to me. He sent his photos. He says, "Is he going to deliver on stage?" Because have seen it, we have seen it. I was so impressed with Hunter. A couple of years already going into the shows, like 2 years out, a year ago. Like holy shit!
I know exactly how he feels.
Yeah,
I know exactly how he has to. What's going on in his mind? Like, what the fuck is going on? And that's why I'm saying maybe nerves, because he has a track record of not delivering the same thing on stage. So now every time you get close, you see. And leading up, we saw the pictures and the videos. He was much improved. He was bigger in a lot of areas. He looked like he was going to come in at his all-time best. He said it. So he was confident. But then once you get there and you got 24 hours, now you're nervous. I said, please, God, don't let me fuck this up. I know how he feels. I can really understand. Maybe I'm not saying this is the reason, but. It's just, I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed. I wasn't disappointed, but I was a little under impressed. When I saw them standing, especially when I came home and I watched it on the big screen and I saw I was more impressed with ANDREA PRESTI.
Yeah, you called me.
When you looked at the first, that call out was the last call out was at 4 or 5? 5 or 6, I don't remember. Anyways, he had this one guy to his left, Then he had ANDREA PRESTI to his
Lorenzo,
right, and then the Brazilian guy, MILOS' guy, next to him. And I saw all four of them front relaxed. I like everyone better than Hunter. Front double biceps, same thing. Lat spread, same thing.
What do you mean? You like everybody better than Hunter?
What? Well, condition-wise now.
Well, his last spread, his chest was absolutely flat. In the front last
yeah.
And the front double bicep.
Could that be the reason? Maybe he was flat.
No, but it looked like he's not even utilizing that area when he's hitting those shots.
And this is what we always talk about. When you look like this leading up to the show, every day you look fucking great, you take pictures. Why would you change something? And I'm not saying he did or they did. Why not just take it as the same fucking thing? Just walk into that fucking show.
What about this, Dennis? What about this? What about, I see him working with multiple people going into a show.
I don't think he worked with all of them.
I'm talking about the poses, because he won some poses and he lost some poses to PRESTI. We think that, right?
But I don't know.
I thought that he lost a couple of shots to PRESTI, and then I thought that he won a few shots to PRESTI, and then he won because he's better genetically put together, and it just looks better on him. And other guys in the show, he just outclassed him that way. But there's room for improvement, and I think he can improve, and he's actually better than what he's shown. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. If he drops 4 or 5 pounds to the Olympia,
he's better than that.
Oh yeah, he's better because he needs to get his abs in check. That's the first thing.
His limbs, arms and legs are spectacular.
Yeah,
it's a fucking phenomenal. The back is super impressive, right?
Much improved. Yeah.
Yeah. Thicker, bigger, wider. I mean, he put some tissue on the legs. I've seen him in the torture gym 2-3 months ago with Steve Weinberger. Holy shit.
I like that word, tissue.
I mean, yeah. You know what I mean?
I know, that's a new word. We didn't used to use that word.
Really? We don't use it?
Tissue.
No, Milos, we use muscle. Yeah, muscle.
I know. He's all in there. He's with the
muscle tissue, of course. That was the only tissue I always think about. But listen, he's impressive. And he was so huge in front of me. When I saw him on the stage, he didn't look gigantic, really.
If you need some tissue, let me know.
That's the tissue you're taking. You pervert. But listen, for me, this is the only thing. Chris, please tell me that it's true. If you can fix one thing only, for Hunter to make a huge impact, what would it be?
Poses. The way he puts him his poses. And I would, whatever he's doing with them strikes in his legs, I bring that to the stage, and I keep the lines in my legs and look more like somebody that's trying to do some damage in the scorecards.
Hold on. So you're saying that he's not posing correctly?
Who, Hunter?
The back double bicep, he's leaning way.
Right.
Yeah.
Dennis, maybe you didn't hear it. I asked Chris if there is one thing he wanted to fix with Hunter for the Olympia, what would it be? And he said his poses. I'll ask you the same question.
Presentation.
I would, if it's one thing, I would say, fucking get that stomach under control.
Slam dunk, point blank, absolutely. That's the only thing. I mean, Chris, think about this. He is labrada, which means genetically he has that posing code in his genes already. I don't think that he makes mistakes in poses, but that stomach distract from the pose. Like when you say crazy arms, but front double biceps is underwhelming.
I'm sure.
Right?
I'm sure Chris doesn't even like the front double he's doing. Chris, fix it.
In fact, this is all flat. I think he does have. He injured his pec on the right side, so I think that's always on his mind when he.
Oh, you mean his good pec?
Yeah, this side right here is.
Oh, you're talking about the tear.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think that's on his mind a lot when he poses, and it should be, and it would be, and he did a great job a lot of years working with that and not being too visible, and I don't know if he's been training his abs. I see a lot of arm training, leg training. I never really see him doing abs. I never really see a lot of bodybuilders doing abs.
Yeah, but most people that do abs, they don't film it. There's no need to film somebody
Why?
training abs.
Why?
Well,
When was the last-
unless you Milos
guarantee you-
unless you Milos and you have no shirt on and you don't hang a leg
I
raises.
guarantee you that people are not doing it correctly. I guarantee you.
I don't remember last time I've seen anybody train abs in any gym.
Yeah. Wesley Wissers. What's up, my man?
There we are, finally.
AC
Good. Thank you for having me.
AC
The
double
freaky
champ.
dicky- The freaky dicky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for making the time, brother. And
Of course.
yeah, and again, congratulations for the 2 Arnold Classics win this year. And when 2023 was over, did you think that you're going to start the year off 2024 the way you did? Was that on your mind?
No. No. Not at all, because
Did you believe in 2023? I'm sorry. Did you believe that you're going to be talked as one of the favorites to possibly dethrone Chris Bumstead?
No, not to this extent. I thought I could be top 5 material to at least be in the final call out. But then when you're in the top 5, you still have many steps to take to be able to get in a conversation of actually possibly battling it out with Chris himself, because that's the end game basically at the Olympia. But the Arnold, of course, changed everything because, as you know, I was 7th at the Olympia. And then right after the Olympia, I did the Romania Pro to qualify for the next Olympia because that was my plan. But then the Arnold came around, and then things changed quite a lot for me. So yeah, now the predictions from everybody and from myself as well have changed for the positive.
Yeah.
You remember your speech in Romania after you won? Because I do remember. You were very confident that 2024 is going to be your year. In Romania, on the stage.
But he probably meant that he's going to be at his best, but he just probably didn't think that his best would be that good and would put him in that position. You know, because nobody had him on the radar coming in 2024. We knew he was there. We knew he's great. But to make such an impact it's actually good to see that this thing still happened.
How do you think that happened? How do you think that happened for you, like so quickly? You went from being a middle of the pack guy, 8th place, 7th place area, and then jumped over people who's won many championships.
And his second and third at the Olympia.
Yeah.
And fourth.
Yeah, yeah, fourth. I beat everybody there except Chris. That's what happened. So there's 2 things that really happened for me. So number 1, which is I think even the most important thing, is, you know, at competitions you get the first call out, which is random. Sometimes it's in alphabetical order, but this time it was like more random. So I was, I think, number 3, Ramon, I think number 4, and Urs number 1. So that meant like they did not even have the opportunity or the chance not to compare me. I was compared right from the get-go at the first time we got on stage at all.
In the groups,
so, yeah. And I because of my numbering, I was also in the middle in that call-out. So it just happened to be right next to Ramon and with Urs in the same call-out. And then the judges and I myself, when I watched the live stream later, could see the impact that standing next to those guys actually had. They could see the size difference that was there. My conditioning then was also top notch at that show. So when I stood there in the front relaxed, you could see the definition in the legs, and all of a sudden they were like, oh, wait a second, the legs aren't a weak point anymore when standing next to Ramon. I mean, they take up the same amount of space on stage, which is what Tyler Mannion himself literally said after the show. So I think the first impression was so good in combination with the second thing, the peak was also perfect, that it was difficult to ignore. And then when they kept comparing us, they were like, at least that's what I think, they were like, okay, we just see that Wesley is, you know, edging Ramon out in certain poses, and Ramon may be better here and there, but Wesley is overall just a bigger guy who is peaked better, a bit more conditioned, so better presentation. So overall, he just deserved to win that show because on that day, Wesley was the best. But then even so, it was unexpected for me to beat all of those guys like in one show compared to the Olympia, of course. So that it's still super special for me when I think back about it. Yeah.
Did you, going up against BREON at the next Arnold in the UK, like, were you confident you were going to make that happen, or how was that preparation, and how did you feel going into the show?
Funny. Do you think
Yeah,
you
to
would?
be honest, yes. So to be honest, when I won the Arnold Classic Ohio, I honestly thought I'm gonna win the UK no matter what.
Yeah.
Now,
Why would you?
because
Why would you
Ramon,
worry about someone who got fourth?
yeah, yeah, because Ramon didn't even do the UK. I knew that. So the guy who I was in the last call out with, like a two-man call out, wasn't gonna do the UK. So I had no worries at all. But also to be transparent, when I got to the UK and I saw BREON and Urs, not to forget, they both improved so much, in my opinion, at that show that I was like, whoa, wait a second, this is going to be just another battle. It's not just going to be a cakewalk. It's going to be another real battle here. I got to do my best. And I made one little mistake at the Rs UK, and that is that I thought, at least it appears so on stage, that I didn't have to try so hard anymore because I already won the big one. So once I got on stage at the UK, I did the same poses, but it wasn't with as much confidence or with as much excitement that I had at the Ohio, because at Ohio I started to prove myself and I knew I looked good, but I was like, I'm just here, whatever placing I can get above any of the Olympia guys, I'll be happy. So I had a
Yeah.
good vibe at Ohio, but in the UK, I was the winner already. So I went through everything a bit too easy at the pre-judging, which I then very much corrected in the finals by exploding during my posing routine, and the audience really liked that. So, but yeah, BREON, I have to say that was a very tough challenge at the UK. He improved a lot.
Yeah,
that's for
but
sure.
BREON was also on in Columbus. You know, he was BREON was when I compared him now with Ramon and with Urs, I don't think they were at their best in Columbus. Okay,
Yeah.
they were better. Urs was better in the UK. And they and I'm sure they thought that they're gonna get the UK, and then he ended up getting beat by BREON.
Yeah,
but
Which was another thing was good to see that it's not all about, your status, I mean, BREON is a former two-time Classic Physique Olympia champion. You cannot forget that, And I don't know, Chris, you think BREON looked better in England or in Columbus?
I thought he was better in England.
Yeah, I thought he just looked like BREON.
But he looked good at both.
Yeah.
I thought, going into the show, I mean, just judging because I was up close and personal in both of them, I thought, okay, Wesley, going to another show, to travel over there and to repeat. I just think you were super on. You were super, super on at that Ohio show, like more than I ever seen. And I thought your foot was off the gas a little bit at the next one. As you said, you were more confident, and you was like, oh shit, I'm in the middle of a dogfight again. And BREON being a mature competitor as far as muscle-wise and everything like that, you got age over you guys. I thought he brought, a package that he could have very well wanted. So I thought it was, pretty close, but I just, I was feeling like, some of the shots you won, some of the shots he won, and then, but I just think the judges try to sweep BREON under the rug too many times, and I like to see him. Look, he does. Bro, if you're a former champion,
come
you
on.
decide.
Sweep him under the rug. Come on.
Well,
Why would you say that?
he never placed past fourth, but I just,
exactly. When
you can still get a look.
But when what do you mean you get a look? If you get fourth, you got a look. You get swept under the rug. You place us out of the top 6 or somewhere in the top 10. That's when you could say that, but not when he's top 4 and he's been there since he competes.
As opposed to winning the show is what I mean.
I understand that you would like him to win every show. I get
not
that.
every show, not every show, but I think just get a look and just see how it can look at some of the shows.
He always gets a look. He's always compared with the top guys. Chris, what are you saying?
Let me remind you, Dennis. I was sitting right next to you at the prejudging in the first row, right?
Right.
And we were going back and forth, and there was argument that BREON could have won. I mean, if he would have won, you would not be like, "Whoa, what are you guys doing?"
Yeah. That's why
Dynamics of this. Okay, 2023, Wesley didn't make a real impact at Olympia, so Ramon and Urs were coming on the stage as major favorites. Okay, BREON would be there, like considered top 3, right? And then whoever shows up, and then you showed up. By the lack of a draw, like you said, numbers, once they put you there, and
never
then,
moved.
holy shit, look at the Wesley now. Conditioning is crazy. He's so much wider, open up, legs not down size next to Ramon, like you said, or BREON. Okay. Urs has a better legs. Urs has a spectacular legs, but the whole picture. What I wanted to say, they didn't put you there right away. You took that attention, and it was kind of
demanded.
Ramon, and I'm expecting Ramon is good, but then Ramon was fading. His legs were not as separated, and at the lower body that he's supposed to get you, he was not getting you because your separation was so much more visible. And then you open up, and then your super striated shoulders, and it was super impressive. So I think that you convince way too many people that you were a rightful champion then, and that you're coming after Chris. Now, that's a question that I want to ask, but I'll let Dennis discuss Arnold Classic. For me, I could have still flip-flop you and Ramon, because Ramon is that good. Even if he's a little bit off, I mean, that was close. Urs was off. And I would give BREON over Urs at that show. BREON was spot on. I mean, back double biceps, everything hanging. Legs are still weak. And yeah, you can angle it, but judges can see it, right? You angle it, and you have a more sweep. You have a more tissue. I was saying that's the tissue. And, I've seen recent picture. I think that your legs are improving, which is exactly what you need to do to battle Chris.
But it's also because he was so spot on. And listen, and Wesley is always in shape. Wesley was never off. But he was so spot on, and I guess everything worked so good with the peaking, with the fullness, that he looked, and his legs, once they get so deep, they just appear to be bigger, even if they're not. Yeah. You create much more of an illusion. And I don't think there's anybody on that stage that can create more of an illusion than Wesley. Because
he was big and hard. Big and hard.
I was sitting next to Milos, and I was like, because listen, you know how good you have to be if you come from 7th place at the Olympia and you leapfrog all the top 4 guys? Yeah. You got to be fucking better than good. So, Milos, remember when I said, I wouldn't have a problem if they gave it to Wesley.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps.
I didn't think he was going to get it. I didn't think he was going to get it. I really didn't think. I think he was going to be.
I didn't either.
No, but Dennis, that just brings you back to how we used to look at guys on the stage back in our day, and you'd be like, "Man, look at this dude. He brought everything. He brought everything to the show."
For me, that was classic Arnold when he hit that front double biceps. He stood there just like Arnold used to stand, but much harder.
Yeah, that's what I gotta congratulate you on, man. Because that was such a great display of bodybuilding, and even in front and the back, it was so hard that everything, even the weaker areas on your body, looked great at that show. Yeah. So that's why I gotta commend you. And it was great to see that. And if you had the older guys happy in the front line, in the front row, you're doing something good.
Yeah. Yeah. So now it's all about what is Wesley going to do? What is the plan? And what is the goal for the Olympia this year?
So the goal is to give Chris Bumstead the toughest battle he has yet so far. He's had so far. So every time now, we all know at the Olympia when Chris, is in shape, he's gonna win. It's like, yeah, they can do a two-man call with Ramon, but we all know pretty much immediately Chris is gonna win. I mean, at least that's how I viewed it. They try to make it exciting with Ramon, but there's still too much of a difference between him and Chris. So I want, just like what I said before the Arnold, like everybody pretty much thought Ramon was going to take it, right? I mean, you think, okay, Ramon is going to do it. Usually it's a battle between Ramon and Urs. And now BREON actually got into the mix as well, very, very, very well, in a good way. But we all thought, if we're honest, okay, Ramon is just going to win the Arnold Classic. But I said beforehand, it's not just going to be Ramon and who's going to be second. It's going to be a battle between me and Ramon. At least I want to battle him. When I'm standing next to him, then you will see the truth. And the same thing will happen with Chris Bumstead. Like the exact same things they said about Ramon, the tiny waist, the supposedly bigger legs. All of that disappears the moment that I actually stand next to the guys. And that's what I want to happen at this Olympia. And also, I am a better bodybuilder now than the Arnold Classic. I can confidently say that. I worked on the weaker areas, or the areas to fill in more, to be more proportionate, because that is one of Chris's strengths, of course. Every pose has very good proportions. His silhouette is very nice, which is why he's the champion for 5 times now. But he isn't perfect. No one is perfect. So once I stand next to him, I just want to overpower his weaknesses, and that my weaknesses won't be so easily overpowered by his strengths.
What do you consider Chris's weakness?
So he can get very conditioned, but like Milos said before, that there's nobody who has the amount of deep cuts and striations that I have, for example, in the legs, which will be exposed when you stand next to Chris, who has injured muscles, like in the hamstring, the quads, the shoulder biceps. All of that I do have. So I have all the clean muscles, the clean lines, every single detail. In the back double bicep, you can see no blurring of the shoulders. Like all of these things, the moment that they see that in a bodybuilder, the judges say, wait a second, so it is possible to have those details there. Even though almost no bodybuilder has it, it is possible because, someone is showing it. And then when you stand next to Chris and actually be taller, be heavier, it's going to be a tough battle. And that is my true goal with Chris, that it's not just going to be, oh yeah, Chris is going to be in that pose and that pose easily. No, it's actually going to be a challenge. And my big benefit here is that the first pose, the mandatory pose, is the front double bicep, which, to be honest, I'm very confident I can win that pose. So I can win the first pose already. And then you move to the side chest, which for him is a strength, usually a strength over everybody. But I think when I stand next to him, it's also not going to be such a super dominant pose anymore. So, right at the beginning of the comparisons, I will be taken seriously right away against Chris. So that's what I have in mind that my goal is. And of course,
that's good. I love it.
What's going to happen?
I can't even argue with what he just said. I can't argue with anything.
It's very good. I like his analysis. So what happens when you turn to the back double biceps?
So when I turn to the back double biceps, what people think right now is that my lower body is going to be exposed next to his lower body. But as always, presentation, as you know, Milos, can be drastically changed the way you showcase yourself on stage. So for me, we have tweaked the back double bicep because the way I positioned my legs, it wasn't really that pleasing. So I made it more pleasing and more proportionate with the upper body. And you will see an even more conditioned side of me compared to the Arnold next to Chris. So I want to expose him in that area where his hamstrings may be conditioned but not clean, because of the injury. When I stand next to him, you will see that all those clean lines there. The portion of the lower to upper body is better now because it's simply more muscle mass. And yeah, I mean, when I stand in a back double bicep against him, one thing that I remembered very clearly is that Ramon beat Chris Bumstead, according to Tyler Mannion, in the back double biceps last year. So, I beat Ramon at the Arnold in the back double biceps, according to Tyler. So that's also weighing in my mind a little bit that, okay, next to Ramon,
turning into the abs and thighs. How do you see that?
Abs and thighs, it's going to be the most difficult pose to defeat Chris in. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm going to try to beat him in that pose. I know that's going to be very difficult for me to beat him in that pose. If I would have to pick any pose that he's going to beat me in, that would be it. But then again, there are, as Tyler also explained in one of his videos, which poses are allowed during the abs and thighs. One of them is, of course, the regular vacuum pose. When I do the vacuum next to Chris, his waist may be smaller, but my clavicle width on top is wider and the lats as well. With the legs from the front, the quads also not being weak, I can stand in such a way that in that particular pose, I'll be super competitive with him. And also I'm just a taller, slightly bigger guy also, which will help because when he stands next to Ramon, he's going to be the bigger guy and also with a great V taper. So he automatically basically wins. But with me, it's going to be a different story. And then the regular crunch down abs and thighs, I've also worked on that to, like you also say, first suck in the obliques and then hit the abs and thighs. So that's what I've been working on as well. So I'm just going to make my waist appear as small as possible, the legs appear as big as possible, the back as wide as possible, and that's all I can do to maximize my pose in the abs and thighs. So I think that's going to be his strongest pose over me.
I think his ab and thigh, the vacuum is great. He has a great structure for that pose, but I'm not so sure about the actual abdominal wall. I'm not sure that's a total strength, in my opinion. And I like the detailed talk you were talking about the shoulder, the different that's fine bodybuilding, old school style thoughts. I like all the details you're talking about, analyzing the physiques and everything, and I think it's totally necessary. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you did some underwhelming back shots, with the lower half that last year, and that's something you need to pay close attention to moving forward. But I do like, you were, like I said, at that Arnold Classic, you were in the middle, and you never moved one time, and they kept you right there. You was at the right spot, the right number you pulled, and I think that really worked for you. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Now, as you sit there, Wesley, can you sit there and say, I can beat Chris Bumstead this year?
Yes.
Is this coming out of you?
I really honestly think it's possible. I really do think so.
You have to believe it.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's like everybody always says you gotta go to a show and always think you can win.
No.
But this time, I honestly think I can win. Yeah. I can win. It really is possible if I peak perfectly, if I'm better than the Arnold, better proportions, if my presentation is top notch, if I just never slip up on stage, which at the Arnold I didn't either, but this time I'll be even better with each individual pose. So hold the pose, just don't show any weakness at all. Next to Chris, it's gonna be possible.
So your mind, basically you are set on Chris Bumstead only. You're not even worried about Ramon, Urs, or BREON for the Olympia. You're just focused on Chris alone.
So if I'm honest, Chris is my focus, but at the same time, I'm not underestimating anybody because even those names you mentioned, there are also some new names coming to the Olympia, and you never know what they will do. So, but again, it's an individual sport anyway. So regardless of what they look like, I mean, I can't do anything about it. I can only do something about myself. But winning the Arnold, it gave me the belief, the logical belief that it's possible. And it happened. They allowed the victory to happen because of the explanation that Tyler gave and all that we just talked about. So it's a logical victory, which can happen at the Olympia as well if I nail everything. And that is exactly what I'm going to do.
Now, look at this scenario here. Let's say everything goes the way you're planning it right now. So you come in, again, improved from the Arnold, which I think is very hard to do condition-wise. I think if you can just duplicate the condition, you'll peak in 100%. But imagine this, even though we all, and I think Milos and Chris, they both agree that this might be Chris's last Olympia. Mm-hmm. Now, whoever places second, if Chris wins this last one, whoever places second is the front runner for next year.
Yeah.
So this may be another thing to consider. It's going to be hard to beat Chris. I don't think it's going to be easy at all. And I think you have, and this is what I said earlier this year, you have the best chances now because you are taller and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And
you wider.
And
more detailed.
Yes. You have the detail that I don't see this on anybody. I would call this old man muscle, but you're not even that old. But you're clear, and because exactly what he said earlier when he explained when he does his back double biceps, you see every fucking detail in his shoulder that you don't see on guys nowadays. Mostly because they're all fucking shot up so damn much. There's all a scar tissue everywhere. This is all the shit you don't see.
Don't preach.
This is all the shit you don't see on Wesley. This is what I said to you, Chris, about what's his name a couple of months ago. Is the clear detail that he has. And you have it.
Yeah.
I do want to say this. I was not the winner to now give you that speech like, because I was winning. But example, Dennis, you went to 2020 European tour with Ronnie and Jay. And
2020?
Yeah.
2002.
Sorry, 2002.
It's like, damn.
No, 2000. 2000,
yeah.
2000. Yeah. That was before. So Jay was there, 99, stage decoration, right? And then 2000, he was like 8. So nobody was even counting anything. And then you guys went to a European tour, but then he placed second to Ronnie twice. And apparently right there, for the first time, he sensed, I can beat Ronnie. That's 2000. And he comes back 2001 and almost beat him, okay? And that's that self-belief, right? That's untouchable Ronnie. 98, 99, he was so phenomenal. 2000, he slipped a little bit, but still he's there, right? Now, Wesley is in that position, right? So Wesley, 100%, of course, you have to not be content with the second place, and I'm sure you're not. You have to go there visualizing making it that possible. So, of course, if I would go one-on-one with you, give me your strengths that you know you beat him, okay? So you said fibrotic, conditioning, shoulders, fiber, chest, back, all this. Okay, good. Super separated legs. So you said presentation. That presentation is going to have to fit your physique and sometimes maybe fill up the legs and lose some separation just to, create the space. I don't know what you did exactly from a back double biceps aspect, right? But you said you did something to make your legs look bigger. Great. Mm-hmm. Legs are shredded. Your body is shredded from every angle, right? So you don't have to convince judges of conditioning, right? But you might have to present the angles in some, poses that you are bigger and that you can match him and overwhelm him. You can probably overwhelm him in the width of the lats. Just one more throw there. Side chest, I think that Chris Bumstead has one of the best side chests, not in classic bodybuilding, but in bodybuilding. I mean, this is how good he is. So whatever you do, try to create some illusion of getting him there. It's going to be, very, very hard. But I'm a huge fan of yours since a few years ago, even when you were not placing as well, because of that crazy conditioning. You have that Andreas Munzer kind of quality that one fiber flips over the other fiber. And you should explore that. Other thing that I just want to say, the twisting back shots that you do, I know that you do the Arnold, but you probably don't do the Chris Cormier thing. I mean, the way you look, you should do all those, and you should do probably that into the Arnold, side front to the back front. These kind of
I
things.
will.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the bodybuilding, and that's the presentation, and then the resemblance to the Arnold Schwarzenegger. How can that go wrong, right? Yeah. So anyway, just my 2 cents to throw in.
I sense that Wesley's going to end up in a movie too, playing Arnold one of these days or one of these years.
Yeah, but what?
That's
hey,
next. That's next. Because
I gotta ask-
he would be the perfect Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I gotta ask. I
actor.
gotta ask you this. I gotta ask you this, Wesley, because I thought it was pretty funny. At the Arnold Classic, when you got the trophy, you got Arnold out there. You kind of mimic a lot of Arnold's poses and everything. To me, you actually do look like a little Arnold in some of these.
What do you mean a
poses.
little Arnold? What are you talking about?
Well,
Right? What do you mean little Arnold? I think he's taller than Arnold, and he's probably bigger than Arnold ever was.
Point two.
Maybe you're talking about the
Another
status,
Arnold.
a status.
Yeah. Whatever. So, but I thought for sure he was going to acknowledge that, but he thought that you look more like Louis.
No, this is Arnold, man. Come on, Arnold.
I'm talking about
Arnold would not want to give him.
Hey.
Arnold gave him the trophy. Arnold gave him the trophy, but he didn't want to give him his props, saying that.
I know.
You remind me of myself.
I was rolling.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when I was doing the podcast. I was like, come on,
I was
Arnold.
like-
Arnold, he looked just like you.
Yeah. They're on the mirror.
If I was Wesley, I would say, I don't know what you're talking about. I think I'm looking in the mirror.
It is
I'm looking in the
you.
mirror, and that's exactly what it is. Like,
I'm your son.
hey, here it is. Challenge: shut the lights and make them pose. It will be identical. You would not recognize who is Arnold, who is Wesley.
Yeah.
With the lights, just a silhouette.
Yeah.
Right? Like Arnold did this in Pumping Iron on a mountain somewhere. This is it. You should maybe do that. You should
Oh,
go
yeah.
somewhere.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So
Application.
Yeah, but when he said about Lou Ferrigno, obviously at that moment you're so overwhelmed by everything that's happening. I mean, at that moment still the unexpected victory for me over Ramon, and then like a minute later you see Arnold, and then you're standing there. He gives you the trophy. He gives you compliments about your posing and being a classic bodybuilder. I mean, anything he would have said, I would have been happy with. But
yeah,
Arnold wouldn't be Arnold, like you said, Dennis, if he said you look like me.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been Arnold-like.
Yeah.
So that's impossible. Even if I literally was a carbon copy of him standing there, he would not have said it.
Yeah.
Because that's his brand. No one is Arnold.
Yeah.
Arnold is the only one.
You know what I would
So-
say? But better.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it
You
is.
just said I'm the Dutch oak. Austrian oak.
What is it?
Yeah.
There's a question I have for Wesley. Wesley, you started working with I don't know when, probably prior last year also with Stefan.
Stefan, yeah. Since 2021.
So since 2021. So what is it like now? Because Urs is also his guy since Urs is, I think, early, and Urs is the top 2, top 3 guy in the world. So now what is it like now working with the same coach, knowing all of a sudden you beat that product?
Yeah.
So you came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you beat the guy that was running this whole thing for the last 2 years. So what's that situation like?
Well, honestly, Stefan was very happy and very emotional about my victory, like in a very positive way. He cares about everybody on his team, like individually, without interference from other people he coaches. That's really who he is. That's why he's such a successful and kind and nice guy, which is why I'm working with him. There's personality as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also very good at he coaches people for who they are. So like Urs or me, we don't influence each other at all, because we don't talk about each other. But if we ask about each other from Stefan, he's just going to be blunt and honest and transparent. So he doesn't hold anything back either.
So you and Urs don't really communicate now leading up to the Olympia?
A little bit, but not too much, because let most people just be on their own, and some people need a little bit more space than others, especially after a show, we all hang around. But before, not everybody handles situations like a big show with pressure the same way. So then I usually leave people alone in that aspect, and until after the show, and we can chill again.
Yeah.
And then the off season, we train together, for example.
Yeah, you guys also with the
yeah.
same sponsor, so you guys are on the same team somewhat.
Yeah, we're a team.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, we are still a team, and that's what you do notice. Like, we're not isolated individuals. When you go to a show, you're usually like together because of the same sponsor, because of the same coach. We're kind of seeing each other quite more than another athlete, for example. So we are friendly with each other, just in a very good way. Like, there's nothing weird going on, and so Stefan is just very good at individually making everybody feel very noticed, and he gives all the attention necessary to everybody who needs it.
Yeah.
So I don't need as much. I only, Stefan and me, we have a unique relationship in where I also have quite a lot of knowledge about bodybuilding and the protocols behind it. But I like him as an objective outsider to see, okay, now we're going to go for more carbs, or now we're ahead of schedule, or we're behind, or more than general stuff. And during the peak week, that's when we do work together more in a detailed manner where it really counts. But the broad strokes is what we use during the prep itself. But actually right now I am in Vienna on a training camp with my coach. So he is seeing me now in real life. So we actually train together today as well. So
So where are you now? 4.5 weeks out from the Olympia. Where are you?
Yeah. At this moment, I'm in a better position than I was this far out from the Arnold. So he's very happy with how it's going. There's more fullness. So let's just say 3 pounds heavier compared to the Arnold, but better conditions. So of course you can't give exact numbers, but we do know when you look at the trend from last prep that I am heavier, but in a better shape. So that's what we can say for sure. And I just feel great. Everything is going really well. There's no stress. There's nothing going on that can hinder my ability to do my best at the Olympia. So just super much looking forward to it.
Yeah. Milos, that sounds awesome, huh?
Yeah, I love everything about Wesley and Stefan, what they're doing. Huge fan. The question actually that I had for you, and I know it's touchy subject, but might as well, because you had top of the classic. Don't you think that a couple of more extra poses, like lat spread, front and back, should be implemented? And I mean, if you guys are not talking about it and suggesting, I mean, how classic is lat spread? That's what you want to see. V taper, small waist. I mean, and even side triceps. I see that a lot of guys, classic side triceps is the beautiful side tricep.
So how many poses in classic? Is only 5?
Four plus choice of.
So it's front double biceps, back double biceps. No, side chest.
Side chest,
back double biceps, abs and thighs.
And classic.
And classic.
Classic.
So no side triceps.
No triceps should be in there.
I think it should be all poses.
Well,
Except most muscular, okay. Most muscular, like I understand, but even
what's wrong with the most muscular, man? They have most muscular. They were doing most muscular back in the days.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Monday.
One of my most famous poses now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
muscular Monday.
Yes.
I mean, we are discussing here publicly. But that's why I'm asking you. So you agree that maybe additional poses should be implemented for an easier comparison? I mean, that's the reason, right? You're showing another classic pose, V taper, X frame, all that stuff.
But the tricep displays a lot, all your body, but a lot of detail and a lot of classic muscle insertions and everything.
It's beautiful
True.
pose.
I
That
think
one.
like you see in the open class with the side tricep, a lot of guys do them. They try to do them in the classic way to hide the fact they can't hold in their waist, which is exactly what classic guys are good at. So they can actually do the classic side tricep as it's supposed to be with a super narrow waist and showing a V taper from the side. I think it's a perfect pose for classic physique. And also the same with the front leg spread. I mean, now with the massive guys, it looks like a mass pose, but it's when you think back to Arnold's time, it was actually a very beautiful classic pose you could do, and you can even do a little bit of a variation in it. Like they all have variations in the front of a bicep. You can do the same in the front leg spread. I mean, it's the ultimate V taper pose, basically. The better the V taper, the better that pose is. So I agree.
You know, I'm bummed that, for example, Chris Bumstead and Wesley are not going to be compared in all these other poses as well. So we are kind of like limited with only this 4 poses and classic of your choice. And then how do you judge that, right? Because you're going to do completely 2 different poses. Maybe somebody from the front, something from the back.
Yeah,
so
that's
how do I
why.
judge now? They both look great, but who wins?
That's why I knew which pose Ramon was going to hit at the Arnold, so I did the same. So that's why I changed my classic pose so I could do the same as him. And now every channel who reviewed that show, it was one of the official poses they also compared because we could be compared. And I think even Urs did the same one as well. So it was quite easy to then compare us. But yeah, I agree with somebody does like a twisting back shot and another one does a front shot. It's going to be very difficult to compare. But if you're smart, like Chris and Ramon also did, usually they do the back shots together and then a front shot together as well. I mean, but you gotta really challenge somebody to do that with you, that you know that you're gonna place, right next to each other and really battle each other that way. But it's your own decision then, because you can still do something else if you want. But when he hits it, I'll hit it too.
Who did you normally train with? Did you always train with Stefan? You had different trainers over the years. I saw you evolving and changing your training over the years. Can you tell us more about that?
Before Stefan, I did it by myself for a while. So I won 2 pro shows on my own. But I noticed, okay, pro shows I can win, but for the Olympia, you just need the extra help, more so the objective eye, because I pushed myself too hard. Now I'm peaking correctly because Stefan is actually holding me back sometimes. He was astonished by how little calories I was eating for the shows before. And with that low amount of food, I simply could not show my fullness, for example. Yes, conditioning was there sometimes, but when you're so flat, it doesn't even showcase that much. And now we have the perfect balance between more food, which means more fullness, better metabolism, just a cleaner, fresher look overall, which is why I went from doing it myself to Stefan. And before I did it myself, I had another coach from Belgium who I went to, who actually I turned pro with. I did a few shows with him as well, but he was more of the really old school way of coaching, which I kind of veered away from the more I learned myself. I was like, well, I kind of don't agree with this a lot anymore. And that's when I started coaching myself with the more current knowledge of bodybuilding. And then Stefan came along.
If you had to pick one athlete in the classic physique that's going to be the dark horse this year, who do you see coming into the top 5, 6 from out of nowhere?
Yeah, it's gonna be like we all know that Josema guy from Spain. You know who I'm talking about? With the very good backable bicep, the dug-in glutes. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he looks like next to the actual top Olympia guys.
Well, he got to get next.
Also,
He got to get next to him first. That's the main thing.
Exactly. But also Stefan from France.
Oh,
He's coached by Patrick, I think.
Yes, that NFC or whatever. Yep.
Yeah. I think if he really nails it in his peak with conditioning, also change up his posing a little bit, because he's like a very round and full bodybuilder, but he doesn't open up as much in the poses. So once he figures that out, I think he can be a threat as well, because I think he has very nice muscle insertions, very nice lines.
Also very clean muscle bellies.
Yeah, clean.
Yeah.
So he needs to work on some weak areas like the back mass in total, for example. But I think he could surprise people as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys actually in Classic that could, if they get a chance to, if they accidentally stand in the first groups right in between. That's when just like you got to look at the Arnold. That's how you get a look. True. So it's gonna be hard for a lot of guys to even get that look because you can only put so many people in the top call out. So, but I'm going to put you on the spot since you're here with us. We usually predict only the open, but we're going to predict the Classic Physique top 5 today. And since you're a guest, I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it. I'm going to go with Milos first.
Well, I'm still believing that Chris is favorite. Not because he's going to be favorite, because he is special. And if this is his last year, he's going to improve on his last year's edition. So I see him there. Wesley and Ramon are going to be fighting for a second. We watch him in Auto Classic. Wesley has him on a width that cannot be ignored, right? And Wesley's going to come improved, and it's crazy conditioned. I'm putting him second. Ramon third. Okay, I love Urs to death, right? So I would love to put him fourth, but unless he comes majorly improved, he might lose even that spot to Stefan, that you said. Stefan is super dangerous.
Look at Chris's face.
I know. Listen, I love BREON, and BREON is better at this age, 40, I don't know how old he is, all this stuff. But listen, those are those differences. When I can put Nick Walker out of the top 6 and he can potentially win or be a top 3, but in my chart, hey, that's my goddamn opinion. Right?
Milos, don't explain yourself. I just pointed Chris's face out.
And listen, I also judge how I would judge what I like.
Right. Okay, so who's the fourth?
Wesley, Ramon, Stefan fourth, because I do expect him to come crazy. And maybe he's listening, and now even competitor Wesley is telling him, you don't pose correct. You have so much more than you show. You don't open up. Like this round muscle bellies and all this shit. Like, okay, it's almost like disinterested, like it's painful for him. He is not enjoying, right?
I think everything is new to him, I think. It's still new.
Yeah, but it's a difference from, doing this and opening up, and floating, and he just doesn't do that.
Okay.
Now, fifth would be, Urs. But if Urs improved, which I heard that he is improving big time, God knows, but right now, as I didn't see any other pictures, that would be like my top 5.
All right, Chris.
I didn't prepare.
I got a horse in the race. I shouldn't even vote. Right
no,
now.
You should. You can.
Oh, no.
We do the same with the Open, and Milos has a horse in the race.
Milos ain't got no horse in the race.
Come on, listen. Just be honest.
No, because people gonna be because
we do it every week. So what's wrong with it now?
Be biased.
No, I'm not gonna be biased.
Okay. I wasn't biased, but they call me biased.
Yeah, you said yourself I'm the biased coach. So come on, Chris, go ahead. Who you got winning the Classic Physique Olympia?
Winning? Well, last year Chris was off.
Okay.
And he still won. So how's he gonna be anything but win?
Because last year Wesley wasn't on the map like he is this year. So this year I think Chris is training this much harder because he knows Wesley's coming.
He said that he posed only 1 week last year before the show. That was it.
He's what?
He only posed the last week of the show. That was it.
Okay, so you got Chris. You got Chris winning.
Anything better than that? How you gonna lose?
You got Chris winning.
Yeah.
Okay. Second.
I mean, I know judges are not gonna ever put BREON more than 4th, and I don't think is gonna be something like 5th. So I think it's gonna be the same type of thing, and I think Wesley's gonna be.
You make it so exciting, Chris.
I didn't want to even do it.
Okay, who's second? Who's
Like,
second?
we want to do it. I don't want to do it to be
I
a
don't
bad.
want to do it.
Who is
I'm always a
second?
bad guy.
Who's second?
BREON.
Okay.
Good.
Who's third?
Wesley. I got Wesley's gonna be 3rd.
Okay.
4th, 5th. Oh shit.
Yeah. There's no, you can only put 5 in the top 5, Chris.
Okay.
You want to move BREON back or you
Is
leave him?
BREON-
You want to
is
leave?
BREON who is third?
Yeah. Wesley. He said Wesley.
Ramon.
What's
Wesley.
what? Oh,
Ramon and Wesley's gonna be fighting it out right there.
so Ramon in third.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Wesley, and then
Ramon and then Wesley, and then
you said
and then
Urs.
Earth.
so Urs in fifth.
Yeah.
Urs in fifth.
Yeah.
Okay.
This ain't anything. 'Cause I don't
So I'm gonna repeat. You just tell me this is correct. Chris, BREON,
That's
Ramon, Wesley, Urs.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going with
I don't care.
I'm going
just
with
putting-
Chris.
Yeah.
I'm going with Wesley. I'm going with Urs in third. I'm going with Ramon in fourth, and I'm going with BREON in fifth. And this is just today. Now we're gonna go with Wesley. Wesley, what is your top 5?
Obviously, I have a horse in the race as well.
Yeah. So I put Wesley in first.
Yeah, good one.
Chris in
You have to
second.
think that.
Chris is second. Ramon, I think, will be third. And then 4 and 5 are going to be tough, but I do think it's going to be between Urs and BREON. But BREON has to bring a similar or better package than at the Arnold's, I think, because I think if he shows us as his last showing in Dubai, I think, then he won't be in the top 5, I think. But if he does show up as good as he can, then it's gonna either be fourth or fifth. But for now, I'm gonna put Urs in fourth and BREON in fifth.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
So can I just be a little devil's advocate here? Because I love Wesley, so analytical. Compare BREON and Stefan, body, pose for pose, strengths, weaknesses.
Yeah, so front double bicep, BREON has opened up a lot more. He has, like, they both have round arms, so BREON has just better peaks. And I'm a really, bicep guy. When you hit a front double bicep, your biceps are good, and the rest, his lats are good, core is good, and the legs were better before, but they're still good enough for that pose to make sense. The only thing that Stefan has over him is the density in the legs and the mass there, but I think overall BREON will win that pose. Side chest is going to be tough. I think in the leg definition department, BREON would win that one. And then the upper body, Stefan might win that one. So it's going to be if Stefan poses it correctly with as much width as possible, he's going to win. If not, then BREON will win that pose. Back double bicep. I think BREON's back is simply still too dominant for someone with a weaker back like Stefan to win against BREON, so he's going to win that. Abs and thighs is a very interesting one because I think Stefan has a unique frame for that pose. He has a good core. Can't honestly remember if his separation in the abs is very stellar in that pose, but I know his total package in that pose, because it's not a width pose, so it is more of a density pose, and if you have a narrow waist, it's going to be difficult to beat someone there, and great legs. So I might give Stefan an edge over BREON there. But with the favorite classic, I have to go with BREON. Because that's what BREON really shines in the favorite classic, like with the crucifix pose that he does and the other variations when his arms can really play a strength. And I think Stefan doesn't really have a very strong one in that pose. So overall, there will be, I think, 3-2 for BREON.
Very good. To the point. Beautiful. I love it. Seriously. But don't you think that he has tools to look spectacular and be a threat?
Yeah.
Even, yeah.
He does, but it's about getting it out there, you know? Because if he hasn't proven it yet, and you don't know how hard or easy it was the last time to achieve what he already achieved, so you don't know how much potential there is left in such a short time to get it out already. So
I love it. Dennis, ask him for the open bodybuilding.
Yeah, we will. We will. We get to that in a second. I was just looking at. Did you see Milos rips Xavier?
Yeah.
Me.
Did rip him. You've been ripping him a lot. Even on the Cutler.
Yeah. I mean.
So I thought it was just from here.
Ripping.
What's his name? RX Muscle, Dave, and Chris had Xavier on the show, and then it was like, oh, what I make such a big deal over revealed. Like, okay, you hear it's not such a big deal.
Well, tell us.
It was a big deal. I don't want to repeat the whole thing yet.
Yeah.
Of course, I do think that clickbait are just like fucking pissing me off.
I know. That's the internet, Milos. We're too old for this shit, but that's the internet. I had one more thing. Oh, did you guys see the much anticipated huge announcement that Chris Bumstead had with this stage press conference, what it was, because I don't know why, but I saw the pictures of that same damn thing a couple of days before. So it had to be something that was staged. And he announced, which I think this is fucking awesome, you know, that this is still possible for athletes in our industry, and I'm not talking about NFLs or basketball, our industry, to make like really, really great deals with Gymshark as a co-owner and athlete. So I think he's pocketing really, really well here. You know, yeah. I love stuff like this. I mean, I love to see guys literally come out and show the world that anything's possible. You know, I wish it would be possible for all of them. This is really what I wish. I wish for, because there's enough money for all of them. It's just some people just have a different aura about them that just makes people attracts people more than others, you know. And but I thought it was a little bit. I expected something different, like huge movie fucking role or something.
Nike.
Yeah, I expected something like really, really. But then again, this is big. This is huge. I mean, Gymshark is the leading clothing line, right? Or they were at one point.
Were.
So, but now I think with Chris coming back on board, that's going to change real fast. He has that pull. He has that pull.
He does.
He has that pull. I mean,
then another question for you guys.
Yes.
If he now signs with Gymshark, would it then make sense to retire this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What?
Because then he has time to fucking do the traveling and do the promotions for the
Yeah,
brand.
but do you think that hypes him up as much as
you think
the Olympia and winning it?
No, he won it maybe 6 times this year, and then you think that Gymshark cares if he goes to the Olympia or if he's just being Chris Bumstead? He's got the following at the point, huh?
It depends, because the only thing that you do see is that around the Olympia, he does get a lot more attention and social media around him in videos, posts, mentions everywhere.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't matter anymore, because it really doesn't matter anymore. I think it does not matter what he could fucking stop training tomorrow. I think it doesn't matter. He's at a point where it doesn't matter.
Faster sport.
And for a company to do that, you know, and it's not just Gymshark, it was even the guys that did Raw. They brought him on board as a partner, so to speak, you know, which was the best thing for them, because they know he pulls. You can take him, Chris can fucking make a post right now and say, listen, everybody here, you know, buy this for $1.50. He'll get fucking 10 million people to buy this.
Yeah.
You know, if you have that kind of power, can you imagine how long they were fucking negotiating? And I know there were other companies that wanted to get Chris. Young LA is one of them.
Of course.
So can you imagine what negotiation was going on behind scenes? I mean, if you got that kind of power and you say, listen, I'll come on board for this and this and this and this, but I also want ownership. I want to be a partner.
Yeah.
You know, and if I had a company and I had that kind of money, I would invest in a person like him. Because listen, you don't have to go into a bodybuilding industry. I see people that don't even fucking go to gyms. They follow Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Chris Bumstead.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you're looking for a clothing line, not just the bodybuilders. Who cares? They don't care about the bodybuilders. They care about the girls that wear them fucking tights and the fucking tops, and you know what I'm saying? So good for him, man. I like to see that. I would love to see this for a lot of other people, you know, to make some more money because, you know, unfortunately we were in a time where money wasn't everything, you know. Now it is.
It's going that way. You know, that's a future for you, my man, too. Earth is kicking ass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him in Kuwait at Oxygen Gym, and that guy is like, yeah, we did some back training with him there, you know, in my camp coordinator. But even when we went to go eat, he was like, they had potatoes and they had something else he wanted to use for a carb, and he was like really specific on this is what I want to eat. If you don't have
It's
this,
German. That's how Germans are, bro.
I'm gonna go back to my room and cook some oatmeal. It was
That's normal. There's nothing. See, that's the difference between the German. Oh, I'm gonna say Europeans because I'm sure Wesley is the same. That's the difference between Europeans and Americans. Americans, they wouldn't bring their food. They would find a good restaurant and say, "Yeah, can you make me this?" and put a patty in there. It doesn't matter.
This was at a healthy restaurant. They just didn't have the exact that he wanted.
Yeah.
That he wanted to have for that meal, and I was like, "Damn." Like we way here, you know, months away from Olympia.
Chris would have a burger. Fuck it. Get your carbs and your protein.
Hey, back in the day, European tour.
Calories.
Listen, we were traveling for weeks, and then now you ran out of it. So you go to the restaurant and you're competing, a couple of days, and they bring you chicken and potatoes, right? So I would go in a sink and wash that chicken, and then I would dry towel it, a few times and all this shit because I would just not trust it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I would go to a restaurant with my Tupperware with my food, and I would order something just to say, listen, I'm spending money here, but I'm eating my own food.
Yeah.
I remember we was in the store and we all went into the same store, me, Dennis and MILOS. And I heard him asking about some cake, and I was like, what are you asking about some fucking cake for? Fucking guy, asshole.
Angel food cake, zero fat.
Oh, you need dry cake. I was like,
Angel food cake.
Milos used
kill you, Milos.
Milos used to make cookies for me in the very beginning. He made some what was it? Oatmeal, raisins,
dates or
raisins. Yeah, bro.
Dextrose.
And then I'm in your gym and I see all these cups on the table over there. I'm like, what's in those cups?
What cups?
He had a bunch of styrofoam cups with people's names on them.
Yeah. Pre-workout, intra.
Yeah, but that was after me. That's not in my time.
I'm out working out, looking over there. Like,
You're supposed to drink one.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, listen. So are we ready for the open?
Yeah.
So
let's start with the guest.
Yeah, we'll start with Wesley for the open. We going in the open. We going into the top 6 in particular order, please.
Okay. So since the open is not my category, I'm going to be more creative here.
Okay.
Yes.
Because this is the list that I want.
Shock value.
No. I want you to put the list out what you see happening if everybody's on.
Okay. I think. Yeah. I think Derek might win again.
Well, I think Hardy might win. I think Samson.
Yeah,
might
but
win.
it's like I know how good Hardy was at the Arnold, but I also know that Derek is going to be better than the Olympia.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, which improvement do you think is going to be overtaking the other? But I do think Derek being the current Mr. Olympia and then improving as the Mr. Olympia is going to be tough to beat that.
Okay. So you got Derek winning.
Yes.
Okay. Derek.
And then I have Hardy in second.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I'm going to go for Andrew Jacked in third.
I like that.
Samson in fourth. Yeah, then it's going to be difficult because you got, of course, Nick Walker you have. But you've also got so many other good guys now.
Yeah, there's about 13, 14 more. Okay, I'm going to throw a couple of names out for you two, maybe. So
Yeah.
We got Nick. We got, I don't know about Beirut. We got Hunter. We have, Tonya Burton is out.
Yeah, I know.
We got, who else is in there that I forgot?
Martin is Stefan's guy.
Martin Fitzwater, yeah.
Yeah.
John De La Rosa.
I still think Nick Walker is going to beat those guys,
Okay,
to be honest.
So Nick,
Even if Nick Walker is going to have a better motivated shape because of the New York Pro, then I think he is going to overtake those names that you just mentioned. We also saw Hunter at the last show, which if he doesn't improve upon that, then Nick is going to beat that, in my opinion.
So Nick in fifth or Martin in fifth?
Nick.
Nick, okay. So Martin in sixth then.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good top six.
Yeah.
That looks very good to me. Chris, the real deal, Mr. Cormier.
Derek. Nick, Hardy.
Nick in second.
Yep. Hardy.
Hardy in third.
Andrew Jack.
Andrew.
Samson.
Samson in fifth.
And sixth. Who's that? Belarus.
I don't. You think Belarus is going to make it?
No.
Milos.
I saw.
Look at me. Look at me.
I don't want to speak it into the universe that I'm afraid, but I'm terrified. I mean, there's a zero improvements in his application.
Yeah, let's just say he's not making it. So let's not add him to the lineup. So that way we don't have to disrespect someone who's going to be in the top six. And then if Milos calls me next week, say, hey, he's got his visa, we still got 3 more weeks to make some changes.
Martin, Fishwater.
Martin.
Fishwater.
Okay, sounds good. So Wesley.
He said it.
Oh, Milos. I put Wesley on Milos's name. Wesley here. Milos.
So what's up with you? Okay.
Host is sleeping.
Have you seen Samson's side triceps pose yesterday?
Nah.
Yeah. Yep.
Holy shit.
Okay.
And the guest posing, whatever he was?
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. I think Samson is coming improved, and I really hope that he nails that condition, and that's all there is to it, and I think he is on the way. I had Hardy and Samson second all these times, and I'm going to wait another week or so to see what happens with his physique. So I'm going to keep Hardy first, Samson second, as I had. Video showed that Samson got his abs and waist in check. At no moment, he was breathing through the stomach, losing it, and it's a very good sign. And all this shit is happening. He has the thickest chest of all, has the thickest legs of all. I mean, holy shit. I don't think nobody compares in the leg department.
Okay, he's already in second. So who's in third?
He's already second. I moved up Derek to the third over ANDREA, and I'm gonna leave there. You know, yesterday I'm watching a video that we did, and I was saying how side poses, side chest and side triceps, like how they killed him on upper body, and then you guys picked the goddamn video that showed Derek holding his own, so I look like an idiot. you know. Yeah. So anyway,
I didn't pick anything. If somebody picked this, it's a beautiful lady sitting.
Yeah,
right here
that
next
beautiful
to me.
lady over there. You know, try to go to my favor and not to put something that looks completely different.
Well, she doesn't know what we're talking
Yeah, that's
about.
okay. So that was like unbiased. Okay. So Derek is goddamn Mr. Olympia and deserves probably much more respect. And I would give him third place.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he cannot win, but I still, for me, I see Mr. Olympia body differently. You know, it's the best body in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The second you see it, it's something different, right? Okay, so Derek is third. Fourth is ANDREA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we're not going to put the Behruz in because we don't know. Nick Walker, yeah, is now top 5. And
Nick is in fifth now.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sure, he'd be happy to hear that.
And I kind of like it. It's not like I'm influenced by what Wesley did say, but they say he is creating. He knows what he needs to fix, and he's going to be in crazy condition. So there's no question about it. He has very strong poses. Can he contest ANDREA? Yeah, ANDREA has a way better body, more shapely, more beautiful, all this stuff. But did I think that Chris Cormier and Sean Ray and Flex and Kevin have a better body than Dorian? Hell yeah. But then when they put them together, Dorian won. Okay, and it's still bodybuilding. So that's how I see that Nick Walker can overpower. As a bodybuilder comes super ripped, he can beat shapely physiques. And God knows how far can he go. Right now, I have him 5th after ANDREA. 6th, I'm going to still believe that Labrada can fix the issue that he has with his stomach, because everything else looks great. I mean, if you put like something like this, like whoop, on the stomach, you don't see it and you see everything else, it's perfect, right? So that's what he has to create. Okay, he has intercostals, he has some depth, but there is something going on. I don't know exactly.
Okay.
If he has to undercarb, you're big enough.
Well, he should do whatever they did leading up to the show, and nothing else. Nothing else. Put the color on and walk out of there. We say it so many times. People just don't. People just won't do it.
I don't know if you guys can find that video. He posed in a gym, the MI40 in Tampa, day before a contest or something. And that Hunter Labrada was spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, I see comparisons from Hunter from last year's Tampa and this year's Italy, and I gotta say, I mean, it's a different light. I wasn't in either show, so I'm not gonna say, but in the video, it almost looks better than he looked better last year in Tampa than Italy. So I don't know if that's the case, because he did make size improvements, which you also have to credit him. But I just didn't see what I wanted to see. So, but he has 5 weeks to make it happen. And I'm gonna give you my top 6 real quick: Hadi, Samson, Derek, Nick, Andrew, and Martin. I'm moving Hunter out of the top 6 because from what I saw this weekend, I don't think he would make it. Well, not with this lineup, so he has to make some changes, like Milos says. But that's it. That's what we have for today.
Yeah, but I have one more question, because I love analysis of Wesley. So what did you think of Hunter comparing to the last showing or last year's?
I just saw condition.
No, but Wesley. I want to ask him, because he's analytical. I love it.
Yeah, so you notice more fullness in the whole body, basically. but to a point where it hides the center of the body, like you say, the core, what Arnold used to say, that's all you look at then. If something is wrong with the core, you're distracted by it. Even though the rest around it is better, you're still distracted by it. So I would go like what you say, the core, that needs to be always stay intact and then fill out as much as you can without that going away. And then he's going to be better in every single aspect than before. But, you know, if fullness and mass in certain muscle groups is better, but you sacrifice something else for it, like the core, which is very important nowadays in bodybuilding especially, it's not a winning scenario. So you gotta get that core in order and then think about filling out the rest, if that's even necessary then.
They used to say that bodybuilding starts and finishes with the waistline and the core.
Yeah.
It should, man. It's center of the body. That's the first thing you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Wesley, thank you for your time, brother. I appreciate it. I wish you a great rest of the prep. The last 4 weeks. When are you coming into the U.S.?
October 5th. So I always am in the U.S. a week before the competition.
Okay. All right, brother. So I no injuries. Stay safe, and bring your best to the Olympia to make it more interesting. We're looking forward to seeing it.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
Good luck.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Milos, Chris, peace out, you two. I love you guys. Take care. Be safe, y'all.